Hello and welcome to Scrapping with Lynn. It's Lynn here from Lynn Grieveson Designs, and I just wanted to quickly show you a page I just rustled up this morning using the templates which are actually on sale today, which is why I was doing it. But they're in my store at the Lilypad, and the templates that I used part of the Merge in Style bundle, which is actually some of my favourite templates of all time for scrapping travel pages and even sort of project life type pages where you've got a lot of photos of one particular event or one particular day. Or I've even used them for heritage layouts quite a lot too. Now it's actually really, really cold here today in New Zealand because our season's around the wrong way. So even though it's June, it's actually winter here and it's freezing. It actually feels like it's going to snow, which is very, very unusual for where we are. But it definitely has that feel in the air. So it was quite appropriate that I was actually scrapping some photos that we took from last January when we were actually on the other side of the world today. And I'm just going to quickly reproduce this layout here so you can see what I did and what my process is. So this is a template that I used, which is one of the Merge in Style templates. And I'm just going to be sensible and duplicate it because it's always a good thing to do when you're working with templates, just so you don't accidentally save the original and then you can't use it again, especially if you've flattened it. Okay. So this is my daughter and my husband, and we literally stopped on the side of the road for the first snow fight of the trip. And the photos that I really love are these ones of him. You can see the snowball here that he's just been hit by. Hit him there. So I was going to use those, place those first of all. So this is this one, and I'm going to click. So this is what I do. You click on when you've got the move tool up here, active. You click on the layer that you want, and you'll see that means in your layers palette over here, it becomes the active layer. So then, if I just drag this on over onto there, and then I go to this layer between, and I hold down the Option or Alt key, and click, then it clips to that layer, and then I just grab these handles here, making sure I hold down the Shift key so that the proportions don't change. I want to make sure I've got the snowball in the picture. So how did I have it? I think click yes. Just get rid of that. So oh yeah, I made it a bit bigger. There you go. Great. That's about right. Now, as you can see, it's a lot brighter here. Now, there's two tricks that I did there. So the first one is what I always do, which is just to up the brightness and the contrast, which I nearly always do that so that my photos pop, and I'm just going to make it a bit bigger, and actually become the sort of, they can hold their own against any pattern paper and anything else that you've got in the layout. And you can actually also, if you want, you can use the dodge tool, which is over here. You've got dodge tool, burn tool, sponge tool. You dodge tool and brighten it up a bit too. Now the other thing that I did, which I actually did at the end when I scrapped this page this morning, was to put a colour overlay on it. So I'm actually going to drag the colour overlay over from here just so you can see. Boop, boop. Okay, so I put on this very pale blue on colour overlay at 43%. And if I'll show you what it looks like without it. So that's without it, that's with it, it's without it, that's with it. So it's quite a subtle change, but it just brightens the photo. And the reason that I actually did it on all of the photos on this page is that you'll see as I go through that it makes the layout feel a lot more cohesive because the photos tend to work together a little bit more. And it just works with the blues which were already in the photos from the snow. It's a very sunny day. So, okay, so I'm going to put my second photo onto here. So move tools, active, click on this photo clipping mask here and just drag it on. Hold down the Alt key or Option key, click, it's clipped, and then just going to resize it using these handles while I hold down the Shift key. If you don't hold down the Shift key, I'll show you what happens. Whoop, see? It becomes distorted. I'm just going to Control Z. Whoops, I'm just going to say no to that. So hold down the Shift key and drag on the corner handles so that you can get the photo to where you want it to be. Now I made this one a little bit, sort of a bit more space around just so you could get a bit of an idea of where he was and what he was doing. About there. So I'm just going to try a little trick here, layer, duplicate layer. I'm just going to put it on screen to see if that's a quicker way just to brighten up. Yes, it is. So I'll just lower it a little bit. Layer, merge down. Might just up the contrast tiny bit. Whoops. Contrast and brightness. And then I'm going to put the same color overlay on that. So I just go FX, color overlay, and the one that I used earlier is actually saved in there already. Say OK. Right, now, so I'll get rid of him. Bye bye, Bernard. Let's get this one here of my daughter, who's literally, as you can see, the reason that we were stopped there is that we'd been in Andorra, which is an amazing city. Well, it's actually sort of, it's a principality. I think it's a principality, but anyway, it's a tiny country kind of surrounded by France, and the main city is basically in a gully, and it's quite incredible. It's a really steep mountainous gully with a big sort of mountain river rushing through it, but we couldn't get to the snow while we were there, and we love snow because we don't often get it, not where we are anyway. So whenever we're away, we love to get some snow. So we stopped as soon as we could, which just happened to be in a lay-by on the side of the road, so that we could have a snow fight. And it was the first snow fight of the trip, the first snow fight of the year, the first snow fight of a couple of years actually, I think. So there you go, I've just placed that there, and I'm just going to brighten it. There you go. She's lost a little bit of around her definition on her face because the sun was hitting that, so I'm just going to use the burn tool just to darken that up a bit, and then I'm going to go FX, color overlay, and there you go. Might make it just a little bit lighter on that one. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's this merge bit, which is why they're called merge in style, and I wanted to use a picture of the road, so I dragged it on, moved it into place, and clip using Alt, holding down Alt, and I might just move it up a little bit. Okay. Actually, I didn't have the car in the original, but I quite like it with the car there actually, so I might leave it like that. So it's going to be a little bit different from the one I did this morning, but that's okay. So just up the contrast a little bit. And now this has got an overlay layer on it already, which you can see, which makes it extra blue, but I might just change that. So I'm just going to go Command U, which brings up this hue saturation box. I'm just going to change the saturation bit just to make it a little bit more of a purpley blue like we've got in the rest of the photos. So there you go. Close that one and close that one, and then we have got a sneaky snowball tack. So I'm just going to click on this one, drag it on, go to Alt or Option, and click Shift key, drag on the handles while holding down Shift, and just move it into place. Get his head just a little bit away from that. Okay. Right, brilliant. Image adjustments, brightness, contrast, just to make it pop that little bit more. FX color overlay. Okay. I think I might have just dodged just a little bit just to brighten it up. I like my photos to be quite bright. Right. Now, if you look at the one that I made this morning, you can actually see that I've got more of the road and the mountain there. And from memory, I did that simply by going to the layer that that photo is clipped to and just dragging it out a bit more. I think I took it to about there. Great. Okay. Now, I thought, what shall I do here? And originally, I was going to put a bit of pattern paper there, but then I went to the Mistral kit, which is what I was thinking I was going to look for some pattern paper in, which is one of my winter kits that I've got at the Lilypad, and I spotted one of the transfers in there, and I thought actually that would work just here, so I got rid of that layer. And if I wanted to, as you can see, if I wanted to, I could actually use this space here for a lot more journaling or for a big title. So that's the beauty with templates, is you can, just make them your own completely. But in this case, I'm just going to drag this on and pop it to where I had it. Let's just close it down. Goodbye. Thank you. So I think I made it a little bit smaller from memory. Yes, I did, so that slowly kind of met up with that mountain, so it made it look almost like it was a mountain, and also it leaves some space around there. And then I clipped it. Let's just get rid of that because I don't want it. I clipped it to the background so that I got rid of that bit down there. And then I went Command U, and I just made it a bit more saturated because I wanted to bring out the orange of her hat to match with that. So there you go. Right, and I was really happy with that. But then I thought, okay, I'm missing the snowflake on that, so I'm just going to duplicate that layer and bring it up here. Whoops, what have I done? Oh, I know I need to release the clipping mask. Come on. Right, okay. I'll bring it up here. And as you can see, I've clipped it to this one here. So I just need to remember where's my mountain? Aha. There you go. So I popped it on there. I might just make it a little bit more transparent by reducing the opacity up here. And I don't want the trees, I really just wanted the snowflake. So I get a nice soft erasing brush here. Whoops, I accidentally erased my base. So that's no good. Here we go. And I'm just going to get rid of the bits I don't want. I just wanted a little bit extra up there just to add a little bit of interest and to bring out some more of the orange. And also to bring out the orange, I put a colour overlay on this little heart which is here. So I just went FX, colour overlay. Now I don't want it to be the blue that I was using. I want it to be the orange of her hat. So I'm just going to get my colour picker tool and I'm just going to click on her hat, and I want it to be normal, which means it's just the colour, and there you go, little orange heart. And then I got a little tag from the Mistral kit and I put that down here, made it small again, hold down shift, drag on the corners and pop it there. Now it's a bit dull, I want to make it a bit brighter, so Command U, up the saturation a bit. There we go. Maybe make it just a bit more. Okay. And what else? Ah yes, this little epoxy which I wanted to pop there. So actually I'll just make sure I'll click on that layer, drag it on, make it a bit smaller, hold down shift, and okay, again I want it to be a bit brighter, so for her to match her hat, so Command U, up the saturation, FX, drop shadow, get a bit bigger and a bit darker, there you go, a bit of dimension. And then the last thing that I need to do, don't know what I did there, is to just change the journaling and my little title down here, and I'm not going to show you, I'm just going to drag, actually I got from here, there we go. Okay. And this one I didn't change the font, just make sure you got your text tool active, highlight it, change the colour, might make it just a bit darker so it stands out more, there you go. And if I did want to change the font, then I'd just highlight it and go up here, and I can choose whatever font, ooh, that's the big one, that I want, but I don't, so, and then yeah, and I might just move that so that it sort of is up closer up here. And there you go, so that's how I did it, that's how I used the merge and style templates to make that page, and I hope that's given you some ideas about how you can use templates to make some really great photo books, and most importantly I think have fun doing it. So just giving you some ideas about adding some cover overlays to photos to make them all, brighten them a bit, make them a bit of a pop, and also to make them kind of all work together a little bit more, about how you can increase the saturation on elements and how you can use paint transfers instead of or on top of photos. So thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed that, and hope to see you soon.